408 yards. Wisconsin running back Melvin Gordon had just rewritten the record books. On a November afternoon when the temperature was a freezing 21 degrees during a 59-24 blowout over 16th ranked Nebraska, Gordon carried the ball 25 times for 408 yards, an average of 16.3 yards per carry, and 4 touchdowns. His total yardage set a single-game FBS record, and he did it in just 3 quarters. Yet, Gordon's chances of winning the Heisman Trophy didn't move an iota following that historic performance. The reason? 2 words: Marcus Mariota. It didn't matter that Gordon was on his way to leading the country with 2,587 yards and 29 touchdowns on the ground. The Golden Boy Mariota would go on to win the Heisman in one of the biggest landslides in Heisman history. What's the difference between the best player and the most valuable player? We're going to learn this harsh lesson right now. The last running back to win the Heisman was in 2015, Alabama's Derrick Henry. That year, Henry, Christian McCaffrey, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, and Ezekiel Elliott accounted for 5 of the final 8 spots in the voting. More importantly, Henry's victory marked the first time since 2009 that a running back won the award. Since Henry won the Heisman, only one running back has been in New York for the ceremony, Bryce Love of Stanford, and he finished second to Baker Mayfield. The worst part in all of this is that we haven't seen a shortage of great running backs in the sport since Henry won it nearly a decade ago. Christian McCaffrey was a finalist for the trophy that year. Some may argue that he should have won it over Henry. Instead, we have got nothing, whether it be guys like Dalvin Cook, Saquon Barkley, Travis Etienne, Najee Harris, Jonathan Taylor, or Bijan Robinson. Why have running backs disappeared from the game that I love? I remember growing up and watching the greats like Eddie George, Marshall Faulk, Warrick Dunn, and more great running backs. It was the second most important position on the field next to the quarterback. Remember those guys? Running backs used to be the heart and soul of the offense. They carried the team on their backs, literally, churning out yards and scoring touchdowns. Teams would build their whole strategy around a stud running back, but now they're devalued. They are marginalized on the field on both the collegiate and pro levels. The 2016-23 great running back drought could be just as simple. It's not that running backs have regressed, it's just that passing has regressed at a more significant rate. Running the football might not move the needle like it used to, but it is still conducive to winning football games on the college level.
12 of the last 14 Heisman winners are QBs.
As college football fans, we always hear who is going to win the Heisman, but rarely do we discuss running backs who deserved the award but did not win. Sometimes one was a clear frontrunner and fell entirely from the race. No award is bigger than the Heisman Trophy. 44 running backs have won the award. There was even a streak of 12 years with running backs winning the Heisman. How many running backs had 300-plus carries during the 2023 season? 0. In the last 10 years, the number of backs with 250-plus carries have dipped from 24 in 2014 to just 9 in 2023, the lowest total in 10 years. Since Derrick Henry won in 2015, the highest finishing running back in the Heisman voting was Bryce Love in 2017 with 1,300 votes. Barry Sanders rushed for a college football record 2,628 yards in 1988. The last 2,000-yard rushers were Jonathan Taylor, Chuba Hubbard, Malcolm Perry, and J.K. Dobbins in 2019. The leading rusher in 2023 was Ollie Gordon with 1,732 yards. Stats aren't everything in a Heisman race, but they are meaningful all the same. The whole idea is that offensive skill players must show they can impact the game in a way comparable to a quarterback. However, passing offenses are all the rage now. Teams are slinging the ball around, taking advantage of more wide-open passing.
Let me tell you how it all started. It started because college football went to a more wide-open style of football, maybe, let's say, about 10 years ago, right? Everybody started to want to throw the football around. And what happened was, if you were 6'2", 220 pounds, all the colleges wanted small running backs. So you went to linebacker and instead, right? So now what we see happening after all these years is that if you don't go to Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio State, you're not going to play running back if you're 215, 220 pounds, right?
Running backs are still important, but they're not the focal point anymore. There's a few reasons for this. Running backs take a beating. The punishment they endure shorten their careers. And not all running backs are fading away though. The new breed is a different kind of beast. These guys can catch passes out of the backfield, run routes, and be just as dangerous as a receiver as they are a runner. Here are keys to make running backs great again. Play for a winning team. This isn't new. Running backs need to be on a team in title contention. Derrick Henry, Mark Ingram, and Bush all played for a national championship the season that they were crowned. They must capture a narrative. The last running back to finish in the top 2 of the Heisman voting, Bryce Love, drew the awe of the college football world for his series of 50-plus yard runs. Henry demanded attention with his feats of endurance and production down the stretch, and Ingram, playing for resurgent Alabama, benefited from a similar national shine. You could say the same about McFadden, who seemed to almost single-handedly drag Arkansas back to national relevance. And as I said earlier, Bush defined Hollywood of the mid-2000 Trojans. Narratives matter. So is this the end of the classic workhorse running back? It's hard to say, but one thing's for sure, the position is evolving. Teams are looking for versatile players who can do it all. College football is a pass-first league now, and running backs have to adapt. But don't count them out just yet. These guys are still some of the most exciting players to watch, and the best backs can still be game changers. As college football fans, we have a very short attention span. We see players we like, we praise them, and then heap unrealistic expectations on that player. But then when the player can't meet those expectations, we are quick to look for the next best thing. The fact that a player can start as a favorite in the Heisman and be out of the conversation in just a few games is crazy to me, but we've seen it happen time and time again.